Hi, welcome back to Finding Me. I'm your host, Damian Smith. Before we get started into our next episode, just want to say thank you for those of you that have been following and sharing. Those that send comments, just to give you a heads up, we do share those comments with individuals that have shared their stories. So thank you for the words of encouragement. Keep them coming in. Tonight's episode is entitled 3 centimeters Away, and it's more representative of not 3 actual centimeters of distance, but 3 centimeters of a life change. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you yourself have a story that you'd like to share, please just submit your story or your information to findingmehealing@gmail.com. That's findingmehealing@gmail.com. Or you can actually inbox us on the Finding Me Healing Facebook page. So with that being said, I now present to you 3 centimeters Away.
My name is Lakia, and this is my story of finding me. So my story is that I had my second child in 2003. I had been working with the city of Gary for a number of years, and now that I had a second mouth to feed, I needed a job that paid more money. So I applied for a job in the mill. I got the job in August of 2004. My son was born January 2003. So I was working, from August to October, and so in end of October, October 24th, I had a accident, incident, whatever you want to call it. I was working in a basement. It was operating a scrap bar machine, and what that machine did was the machine upstairs trimmed the size of coils, the large metal things, and the trimmings came down to the basement to go into a bar that was used for scrap. Well, on this particular day, on October 24th, I did something that I wasn't supposed to do, which was to go down on the end where the bar was forming and fell into the scrap chute while the machine was running. So I got tangled up in the scrap. It started pulling my foot, which in turn would have pulled me into the ball. So I was trying to get my foot loose. So as I was trying to get my foot loose, not knowing that the the other trimming was somehow cutting me around my neck. It wasn't until I was able to stop the machine, calm myself down, then I stood up and I noticed there was blood coming from my neck area. So I ran into the area where I would sit down, looked in the mirror and saw that I was bleeding around my neck. I ran upstairs. Well, I hit the alarm. There's an alarm down there, so in case something happens. I ran upstairs and ran into one of my coworkers, and he ran away in the opposite direction. So I went into the office, the shanty where the other workers were, and they called 911. I was rushed to St. Catherine's, where I refused service until my mama came and my daddy. Um, they had this neck thing around my neck. I kept trying to take off and get out of there, but they was like, no, and they were like, we got to start working on you. And I was like, no, 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 don't touch me until my mama get here. And my mom and my dad came in with my grandmother and my uncle. And my mom came in, and when she started crying, I knew it had to be something bad, because she was real upset. She was crying. She was upset. So after I got an opportunity to see my mom, they gave me something that knocked me completely out. So when I woke up, I woke up at Loyola. I was airlifted to Loyola, where I was in a 12-hour surgery. I had over, oh my goodness, over 200 stitches on the inside, 100 stitches on the outside. On my right side, I was cut to my spine. On my left side, I was cut to my trapezius muscle. And it was, the cord to the doctor was 3 centimeters away from my main jugular. I was cut all around my neck here and here. And so it was a real difficult experience for me. When I woke up and I realized how severe it was scary because the first thing I thought about is not being here for my kids, especially my son who was a baby at the time. And it was I just remember waking up and seeing all this, my mom, and then that next morning the team of surgeons that came in worked on me, and the surgeon, that lead surgeon, was talking about how lucky, she said how lucky I was. And I thought, well, how blessed I was if she said it was 3 centimeters away from my main jugular. And it was definitely an eye-waking experience because I thought I was just trying to save myself from going into the ball. In actuality, I was endangering 2 areas of, and didn't realize it. And that just, for a minute, I was kind of depressed. I was sad, but happy at the same time. But I get a near-death experience and not really knowing it was, and the only thing I could think about is just not being here for my kids. Especially my son, who would have not remembered who I was. So that was scary. And when I got home, my parents took very good care of me, doctored me back to health. And not saying that I was a vain person, but I always thought I was cute. And to have these scars on my neck, because the scars closer to my face, I had keloid. They had began to become a keloid and had to get steroid shots to flatten them out. So that took a lot of getting used to. I was scarred for a long time because I didn't want to show my neck. I didn't want to show my scars. Being reassured by my parents and the people around me that loved me, at the time, my son's father, that I was still beautiful, that I was still, the scars didn't define who I was. But it was difficult. It was difficult. And it took some time, and then I realized that I'm still here. I still have a lot of life to live. I had a lot of things I wanted to do that I pushed to the back. I'm like, I can't do this. I got kids. I can't do that. I have kids. Can't do this. I can't afford it. And then it just made me realize that, life is just too short, that I would never be that person again to say that I can't or I can't afford it. I'm not going to do it. Because in an instance, you can have an accident and you can be gone. Because that same year in 2004, I think the devil was trying to kill me. Because I had my accident in October 2004. In December of 2004, I was going to a party that the job was hosting, and I was hit by a truck. Spin my whole car around, and messed up my car. And I'm like, okay, I think somebody's trying to, the devil's trying to kill me. But then that made me realize that I just needed to live. So I lived for myself. I lived for my kids, my parents, my sister and brother, and all the people that love me, my family. So there's never a time since that accident that I would say that I can't do or I won't do, because I know that I was blessed to be here for a reason. And have yet to find out what that reason is. Almost 16 years later, but I know it's a purpose. And so I made it my mission to do and try everything. To live for myself, for my family, for my kids. So every opportunity I get, I do something, no matter what it is. Then I decided to start taking a conscious effort in my health. So I started running. I joined a run group, Black Girls Run. I've done several half marathons. I've done one marathon, several 5Ks, walk, run, whatever, just to get out there and enjoy life, travel, party, just to enjoy the life that was spared, because I know I'm here for a reason. Based off my experience, I would tell someone to just live life. You know, just live. We're gonna die in debt. Some of us, we're going to, we're always gonna have life issues, problems, financial issues. Just live life, to figure it out. There's always a way to do things. If you gotta, I've worked extra jobs to make sure that my kids had. I've I don't like to ask people for anything, so I try to make sure that I figure it out. I'll come up with a budget, to make sure that I can, provide for what my kids need and what I need to do to travel, to go places. Just to, figure it out, because you don't want to look up, and realize that so much of my life I missed because I was afraid. Because I was afraid when I realized that I had a life death experience. I was afraid that I didn't do enough. I didn't live enough. It was still so much more I needed to do that I wanted to do. So to not be afraid. Oh, I want to, travel different places. Me and my daughter now are planning. She wants to go to Italy. So we're going to make plans to eventually get to Italy. I want to take my son on a cruise for his graduation. And I have to get him a car sometime this year, end of December. Because he'll be getting his driver's license soon. Just to continue to support my kids and whatever they want to do, and at the same time enjoying my life, support my family, my parents, now that they retired, make sure they are traveling. My mom, I flew with her for the first time 2 years ago. She had never flown before. She was afraid, and so my sister and I, we flew to Texas, so to help her get over her fear of flying, to get her, to help her with her bucket list. My mom has a bucket list of some things she wants to do. She want to go on a cruise, so we're going to do a family cruise. She, she wants to learn how to ride a motorcycle, so I took the motorcycle class before her to reassure her that it's not scary as we thought. So to do things to reassure her that, if I can do it, you can do it. And just continue, like I said, to support my kids. My daughter, she'll be getting her master's degree in December. Making sure that she, push her to make sure she becomes all that she wants to become. I was afraid, afraid of heights, afraid of being confined in small places. So one of my things to get over my fear, I skydived and ziplined when I went out the country a few years ago. I did a hustle up to Hancock last year. I looked down out the sky, Chicago. Still was afraid, but I did it. And tried to hurry up and get down back on the main floor as quickly as possible. But I did. So, just trying to do things to overcome my fears, as well as helping, my family members, my immediate family members overcome their fears. after my job in the mill, I went back to the city of Gary. Um, because I was such a great employee at the time, they welcomed me back with open arms. But I did. I went back to work at the city of Gary, and I worked in several departments throughout the city of Gary. Um, I'm currently a housing manager for community development, where we assist so many residents with much needed assistance, and I really enjoy that because helping people helps me to know that I'm able to help others. That also makes me feel like that's one of my purposes why I was spared, why my life was blessed. I'm blessed to still be here is to help others. So being able to work in a job where I'm able to meet and help so many people brings me joy as well. So that's another, thing that I think is my purpose is to help people, and I try to do my best to help as many people as possible to try to bring a smile on their face. Nothing like seeing somebody smile. My name is Lakia, and thank you for watching my story of finding me.